everybody, let's get it started. We got William Brown. You may have seen him playing with Sweetwater All-Stars and other bands around town. Today he's going to take us on a percussion odyssey around the world. Let's give it up for William Brown.
I said before, my name is William C. Brown IV. I am a lifer percussionist. I started at age 4, that is 46 years ago. So I've been playing percussion for 46 years, and this has been my life. So basically what I wanted to do today, when I was asked to do this, I was figuring out what I was going to bring to the table. So basically I want to bring to the table, a lot of you have cell phones with you, and I'm going to show you literally the oldest form of nonverbal technology, literally. And that's it right here. This was not an instrument from the beginning. This is a telephone. This is literally used to send signals further than the human voice can carry them, non-verbally, through signal. Same thing as your telephone does, exact same thing. But this is the oldest form. So there have been petroglyphs of percussion instruments. And then for those who don't know what a petroglyph is, or you're too young to know what it is pictorial script that early man used to inscript on the wall. But they have petroglyphs of my instrument family. So that shows the significance of how old it is. And what I'm going to do today is give you a couple of demonstrations of instruments that are all around the world and give you the brief definition of what a percussion instrument is. It is to hit or strike to produce a sound. Remember that, to hit or strike to produce a sound. That means you have many different tones, many different sounds that you can get out of one particular spot or one particular instrument. That means from the piano, since you have to strike it and the strikers hit the strings, it is considered by all means a percussion instrument. Don't Google it, you'll figure it out. That's the new phrase, Google it today instead of read it for yourself. So examples of what people did with a gourd and let it dry out in the seeds. The evolution of that is known as the maraca. Okay, and a lot of people think this is a rattle. We give you a demonstration of these instruments, and then I'll play a few pieces that I actually wrote myself. All right. Maracas, people think this is a rattle, right? But if you take a rattle and you don't shake it, you catch them. That means you stop there abruptly and try to get all those little beats inside to stop at one time, like, start to make a little more sense. Repetitive chaos means rhythm, just saying. Now, you add another one. This is my timekeeper right here, so I'm going to take this one and put it all in between, if that's so fine. Now, that sounds pretty good when it's that slow, nice and easy. Let's ramp the speed up and add another sound to it, because we got closed, open, you have sustain. Right, we have another sound here too. You can hear it now. A little example of maracas.
Wow.
Yeah. And the maracas don't have a definite origin because you can find it sparked up all over. This is a hybrid between metallic and wood, which they were making metal things back then, just saying. So the way you can play this is staccato, which means short, or legato, meaning long. All of those are Latin words, and most of the word terminology that I'll be using is Latin because that's the musical terms are all based in Latin. It's the rules of the game. All right, so to play this instrument, you can twist, right? Or you can shake. You can put those together, or you can use something else. You can use gravity. I'll show you how to use gravity. Because in the percussion world, the reason we use techniques is because a woodwind instrument can hold a note out, right? A brass instrument can hold a note out. The way we hold note out is this. So if I didn't use technique, this will be a quarter note. That will be an eighth note. This will be a whole note. It wouldn't have any value, so you have to learn how to stretch that value out. So you use techniques. Here's a technique to use. I'll pull 3 sounds out of this one instrument here. 3. So you can, sounds like a maraca right there, right? Three different sounds out of one. You add this with other instruments, which I'll do later, and it'll all make sense when the rhythms come together. All these rhythms have a specific purpose. Okay. Now, we'll get to the bread and butter of the situation right here. All right. Just me is a little bit humid. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. For all non-drummers, I have to say one thing that us drummers have a pet peeve about, and only a few of us talk about it. We're not saying anything mean, but these are congas, not bongos. Just saying. It's a drummer joke if you didn't get it. But every time someone sees a hand drum, they say, look at those bongos. Look at those bongos. Look at those bongos. Like, that's the most different variety of one instrument I've ever seen in my life. But what the congas are is, they say, an Afro-Cuban instrument. It is a Cuban instrument of African descent in the way they make the stave drums, like they make the barrels. Okay? The original congas were dugout congas, and I make conga drums myself. And that takes a long time to do. So if you know how to make a barrel, you can make a drum, pretty much. But to dig it out of a hollow log takes technique, and I've done it a few times. And it is a test, a real test of your patience. So, the conga drums have different techniques to play them. You have an open tone, you have a closed tone, pop, harmonic, friction tone. So you can put those together, so you have from that sound to that sound to play with, which is a big spectrum. So it's all a puzzle to figure out how to do it. To keep everyone else on the same page as my mental, because I can go off the reservation when I'm playing, I'll be playing what is known as a click on my right foot, basically and I'll just keep that going so you guys can understand where I'm at. So I can play that. Intermission goes different instruments, but when you're playing congas, strictly congas, there are multiple techniques, and if it doesn't cause physical pain, then you're not doing it wrong. I'm just saying, you're doing it right. If it sounds good, you don't hurt yourself. Bottom line, we don't want to we'll say it like this: we don't want you to hurt yourself to try to sound good. Take your time. Don't rush. Because it's going to hurt because you play for a long time. Don't make it hurt because you're playing incorrectly. I have to stress that because I've seen a lot of broken fingers in my day. Not for me, for other people, I'm just saying. So I'm going to play a piece that I wrote a few years back. And it's actually a full percussion piece, interpretive, and I hope you enjoy yourself. So, with this instrument, I used to play in a few bands around town. Todd Harold, with URB, Fort Wayne Funk Orchestra, and I'm now playing with Sweetwater All-Stars and an EDM, live EDM band called Decepticons. And it's a whole nother aspect of where this instrument has evolved to be able to play multiple styles, and there are multiple languages in the regular spoken language. There are multiple dialects of playing and percussion. My favorite to study would be Kanakal from India. Any of the Indian patterns or the 2116 or large numbers, they all break down to 2s and 3s, and they use a verbalized language to interpret what you're supposed to be doing on your instrument instead of instructions. So I've adopted that technique to apply to congas, because tabla technique is all fingers, and that is literally the singing drum, the best of the best. Zakir Hussain is the #1 tabla player that I can think of, and he's my most main influence. But it's a very studied art. And it took me about 10 years of studying verbally to be able to apply those techniques, using their techniques instead of conga techniques here or here. Tabla techniques are here or here. You use fingers. Right. So if you go, that's all tabla technique. It's not conga techniques. Conga is one up, down, double, double. You can do hidden hands or heel toe. But tabla is using fingers. It's supposed to be a no-no in this world, but if it doesn't hurt you, you know, so all techniques are intermittent. So what I did was blend a lot of percussion styles together to make what I do fun. It gets boring to play the same tumbao or a mother rhythm of a conga. Boring, but important. Take that, speed it up a little bit, and exchange between drums, you get something. You can take it even faster. Or even faster. All that came from that boring rhythm pattern that's been around forever, but it's a foundation. So my whole thought process of bringing up those memories from my childhood is you have an alphabet, a foundation for what you do. Don't just try to speak big collegiate words. Learn the simple words first. Because what is a large word? A bunch of simple words put together. That's all a large word is. And in percussion, what's a complex pattern? A bunch of simple patterns put together. Exact same thing. A phrase is a phrase. So I play phrases, I link them together to give me my larger vocabulary so I can have fun and do what I do. So instead of playing straight pattern to mark time, I'm going to change it up and actually have some fun. I'm going to actually play a pattern on this hand and then play this stuff. So it's a little difficult sometimes to play two different patterns at one time. You just have to think where they clash. Where they come, where they cross each other, is where the true intersection of what they call it one. The real reset is right there. And you have to play through the awkwardness and allow the pattern to resolve itself. And that's what makes that rhythm so pretty cool. I have another instrument over here that I've been playing around with a while, and it's from South America originally. South American and African influence. This one is a mystery to a lot of people. It's known as the Cajon, and this is a Cajon. This is actually from Peru. Peruvian Cajons are dated as the oldest Cajon making style in the world. They have some of the best sounds out of the Cajon. What a Cajon is, I'll pick it up and show you. It's just a box. People think it's a simple box, but this is actually a drum. It has a wooden head on the front, and you can manipulate the sound through pitching while you play simultaneously. Now you have a snare sound that you use your fingers with, and if you spread your fingers, it'll sound like a snare drum. If I use my palms, it'll sound like a kick drum. So I can play patterns, many different tones, in one simple box. sure of. Okay. So, I was asked to play for you guys a bit more, so I'm actually gonna just shut up and play, have a good time. Because I wasn't able to practice today, this will be my time to do it. All right.
Well, hello, young lady. She's not shy at all. Not even a little bit. That's what I'm saying, girl. You got it. Okay. Now. saying, ah, come on in.
I'm getting turned into a raisin.
Man. Getting super hot.
So by show of hands of people that are actually watching and sitting around here, how many people have actually played a drum before? Good. Now that's. They said, play me some music. I got you.
Come on.
So out of those played drums, how many have played hand drums before?
There you go.
How many have played any other percussion instruments besides drums?
No.
That's pretty good.
Well, let's go. Hold on.
Well, has anyone shaken a maraca before? Escuche maraca, ¿qué pasa? Any of that?
Right here.
Yeah?
Play something.
I was going to ask for crowd participation so I can play with somebody. Yeah, man.
Play. You want me to get it up? Get up. I'll get up. Get up.
So people up here have a good time.
You want me to do that? Yeah. There you go.
Yes. You ever played maracas before? A little bit? So you know up, down. Make sure you keep time. Don't move. Okay? You do that for me? All right, we'll start whatever you like. You like some, what was your name? Huh? My Angel?
Let's go.
This is a nice young lady named My Angel who's going to be my auxiliary percussionist for today. Make some noise for My Angel, please. Yes. We have a lesson. I'm going to actually teach this young man how to play these. Watch this. This is pretty simple.
Now watch.
So you got to understand this instrument. This is a maraca, and they have a bunch of beads inside, right? And if you do like this, they'll shake all over the place, and it doesn't sound organized, right? It sounds kind of cool, but not organized, right? So what we want to do is called pump the brakes or hit a wall, okay? What I mean is this. You want to stop. Got it. Do it again. Stop. One more time. Stop. Good job. Now if you go stop, back, stop. Do that. Exactly. Now go stop, 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 stop. High, low, high. You got it. What you're doing is catching. And when you catch them really quick, that's when you start getting multiple sounds. So anything you're doing, speed up. See how small I get? Little bit movement. Little bit movement. This is big movement for time. Shorten it up. And all the beats are doing is doing this. Bounce, 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 bounce. Ready? Let's go. Keep going. I'll keep my foot going one. Good. There you go. You get what's called a 6/8 feel? That's an ethnic feel. Watch this. Now, give this young lady a hand because that's not an easy instrument to play. Just so you know, my angel, these instruments right here are known as timekeepers. They're very important. Or when you're using other instruments like I have a wood block over there and one in my stick. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now, with a wood block or using the power of what is known as the clave, I have a set of claves over there, but it is known as the clave. Basically, the center focus of where you go. So you can do a clave like this. So if I do 1, 2, 3, there's a time marker, just so you guys can hear where I'm at. Right. So I can do this right here. A 3, 2. 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That's called a 2-3 clave. You have a 3-2 clave. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Now, if you can play that on your foot and play this at the same time, they say you're doing something all right. I must be doing something all right. So it's like, I'm a little mentally drained. That's a hard one for me sometimes. But you do 2 different patterns. It's known as polyrhythmic playing. To break it down, a bunch of 2s and 3s. So if I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I count at 3 at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Doesn't make any sense, but if I play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are polyrhythms. So by the numbers when we're in school, the stuff they told us that was we're not going to use, you actually use it. So the lowest common denominator was from a 3 and a 4 is 12. So if I count to 12, these should line up, theoretically, by the numbers, and it actually works like that. So mathematics is universal language, the same as music. And I'd like to thank that young lady again for coming up to help me. I think that's going to be my time for today. I do teach lessons, we do workshops, and speak to people a lot. So try to check me out around town, or come see me play with the Sweetwater All-Stars, or later on the day at the Botanical Gardens with Lisa McDavid while we're trying to set with her. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.